Hey y'all, it's Latrice Williams. I am the managing broker of Vision Properties. Actually, I'm the broker owner, you know what I mean? And this is a new podcast. We're starting it today as we speak. There has been none like it. There will be none after. Well, maybe something after. We're going to open the door and let it. We're going to hold the door open for them. You know what I'm saying? But today is the first day of your Homegirl Sales podcast with all the latest and the greatest about why you should or should not buy a home now or in the future. So right now, we're going to get started because, I really don't normally do this very often. As a matter of fact, I've never done this. This is my first too. So it's not only the first day of the podcast, but it's the first of the first of the first because I've never been on it before. But I do have Brian with me today. And Brian is here to hear about our first topic, which is the 10 must-nots when buying a house. So let me be very clear. These must-nots are actually very specific to when you're actually under contract buying a house, okay? So I'm pretty sure you've heard about the buying process. And if you haven't, you're going to hear more about it, as we tune in to more of these programs. But right now we're going to talk about what happens when you're under contract and why you should not do certain things. Okay, so to get started, Brian, thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Excited to be here.
It's just so amazing. These folks over here at NEYFS, did I say that right?
Nailed it.
Oh, God. When I tell you these folks right here is the most lovingest, givingest people I know, but I don't even know if I was supposed to put that plug in there, but I'm putting it in there anyway.
Do it. Yeah,
yes.
Why not, right?
Yes. Okay, so Brian, first of all, I'm going to be naming off some things that you should not be doing. And yes, y'all, I do have my handy dandy little notebook right here because it's better to know than to not know. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to give you the wrong information.
And I already have a question.
What the question is? Oh, he already got a question.
What does being under contract mean?
Oh, that was a great question.
You said that earlier, and I'm like,
what does that mean?
I have no clue what that means.
What does it mean? Okay, so being under contract, this is mutual acceptance. So mutual acceptance means that you as the buyer have sent an offer over to Mr. Seller over here, and Mr. Seller has signed and agreed to your terms of the offer. Once all parties have executed the contract, meaning if every place that a person is supposed to sign, buying side and selling side, have signed, then we call that mutual acceptance. And now you are under contract.
All right. There we go.
Ooh, I'm glad we did that.
See,
Thank
perfect.
you, Brian. Ooh, Brian. Okay, Brian now. All right. Because I like answering questions. I think I'm the know-it-all. Not really. My mom used to call me Mrs. Know-it-all. But I think that she was like, I don't think she was. I think she's being smart. Like,
we'll just keep calling you Miss Know-It-All. Yeah, I like it.
Okay. All right. So with that said, now that we know what mutual acceptance is and what being under contract is, we are now going to help you all that are out there in the land right now, the home buying process, and you're wondering if you can do some things, right? Because we still got to keep moving and grooving in this life, right? So, number one, once you go under contract, once you have mutual acceptance, do not change your job, do not become self-employed, and do not quit your job.
So why not quit your job? I mean, obviously, I don't think anyone should just randomly quit their job, but I'm assuming, what is it? I remember like when you go and apply for an apartment or anything like that, it's what is it? Kind of history, and it makes you seem like unreliable or something. I'm assuming.
Well, okay, so this is all has to do with the lending side. Me as a realtor, I personally don't mind if you quit your job. I think that you probably want to stay in a position where you can pay your mortgage. On the lending side, though, the people that are loaning you thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars sometimes to purchase a property, they're going to want to know that you can make that payment, right? And so typically, and not to get too much in lending because I'm not a lender, I just work closely with them. Shout out Michelle for a Movement Mortgage. You know, I had to plug you in, girl. But I work with any lender, by the way. So just, I just want to plug it.
Not just one.
Not just one. All of them. But So the process that they use to be able to approve you, let's actually go down the line. So first of all, don't change jobs. The reason why we say don't change jobs is because you have to have a specific amount of time on a job, sometimes with different lending institutions, to be approved for the loan, right? So if they approved you and you're already on one job, you don't want to turn around and change your jobs, because then that means you have to go through the process again, and they may require you to wait longer. So you don't want to do that.
What do
Okay.
they what's like the normal time they make you want to, or that they hope that you would have a job for?
That is all dependent. I don't think we should answer that question on this podcast. And the reason why is because every situation is different. I
Gotcha.
would say there's an average of about 6 months, but there's also an average of, depending on what type of job you have, 2 years.
Ooh,
They
okay.
want a 2-year history, really, right? So they want to be able to piece that 2-year history. But I got to be careful about answering lending questions, because, again, every lending institution is different. And I'm just the person that,
Once again, not a
finds you the
lender.
good
Yeah.
stuff. I find you the good stuff, the house.
Perfect.
Okay, so the next one is self-employed. Again, these are kind of dibbling and dabbling in lending, but I will tell you this, since I'm self-employed and I've purchased a few houses, I know exactly how this process works. Do not become self-employed, because that is one of those little situations that we were talking about. You have to have 2 years of income taxes before they will even look at your pre-approval for that. Because again, if you got the pre-approval and you were working a specific job, you don't want to quit that job, because then you have to go through the process all over again. And it's up to whatever lending institution you're working with to know, or to give you the guidelines on how they want you to proceed, right? So it could be that they want you to wait on that job for 6 more months.
Okay.
So don't walk yourself out of a pre-approval. Okay, now, don't buy a new car, van, or truck, or you may end up living in it. I'm just saying. Let me tell you. The biggest reason why, I realize that we kind of have a long list here. 10 is a lot, so I want to be able to explain everything. So I'll be brief, but I'll let you know why. So everything is based off of debt to income ratio. You've got your income, how much you make over here, and then you've got your debt, how much money you're putting out monthly for your, stuff that you want, right? Or that you have, like your car payment.
payments,
Yeah, all the good stuff, right? Credit cards, loans, personal loans, that type of thing. Student loans, lots of us have those, right? So, with that said, if you go and buy a car and your debt to income ratio was at a certain percentage, you now have added on another debt, and they have to calculate that in your monthly payment. So you may very well not even, listen, interest rates are a little on the higher end right now.
It's
right?
insane.
Yes, it's crazy. So let's just say you took on another payment and that interest rate is super high. That means your payment is likely high. And when we're talking about loans for houses, right? We're talking about like every $10,000 in your approval amount is about $60 to $70. And I could be off, give or take, right? So no lender watch this and be upset about my numbers, but just giving you an idea, that's $60 or $70 in payments for $10,000 in purchase price. If you have a payment that was let's just say 340, right?
Right.
340 or 240, 4 times that. 240 that's pretty, even if you're getting what is that, like a $5,000 car? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Let's see.
It's like something.
Yeah.
It's not that big, right? You're thinking you're not doing very much. You're like, okay, 240. That is how much? That's $40,000 in house payment. So now, if you were approved for a $300,000 house, now you're only approved for a $260,000 house.
Gotcha. Just because you decided you wanted to get a car, or
wait till after. If you feel like you can afford it, wait till after you close to buy a new car. That's all I can say. That's
gotcha.
like, we got to leave that one right there too. Okay, so our next one is, don't use any charge cards or let your accounts fall behind.
So you mean charge card, like a credit card, obviously?
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's going to be for the same reason, right? If you use your credit card and you're in the middle of a cycle, your billing cycle is getting ready to go out, they weren't calculating it before maybe. Maybe you were at the minimum payment and now you have $5,000 that you tried to buy some furniture with, which I think that is one of our things. So shoot, I shouldn't have jumped out there. But And now you've added all that money to it. Your minimum payment has gone up. Same thing, debt to income ratio now is a higher number and it takes away what you're qualified for.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I know. It's like sucks, right? Everything on here I think is going to be that. Oh, nope. Don't spend any money you have set aside for closing. Do not spend any money that you have set aside for closing. I know that is hard because I'm a spender. When you have a budgeting podcast, please let me get on it because I'm like, oh my God, them purses be cute.
Right.
Okay. That hair be nice, honey.
Mm-hmm.
So I spend. And I know that, it gets hard when you're waiting 30 days or 45 days sometimes and you want to spend it. You need that money for closing. Don't do it to yourself. Get to the closing table, give them the money, and then get your paycheck and then spend that.
Then spend it.
And then spend that.
It's like, come on, you're here to buy a house. Just wait a little longer, then buy what you want.
Yes. This next one says, don't buy any furniture, even if the payment is deferred until closing. Okay, so let me just give you what they mean by this. So even if you go to Aaron's, is that like the only place here that does like rent to own? Like, those rental own place, rent to own.
Rent-A-Center.
Rent-A-Center is what it's called. So Rent-A-Center, you can go and you can get furniture and they're telling you that they're not going to put it against your credit or whatnot. They're going to defer the payment and you can pay it off in 90 days. It still shows that you ran your credit. They are going to see the amount that you ran it for because they have, let me let you in on a little secret. So every lender has a system that shows.
Say it.
Okay, I don't know if I'm supposed to say it, but every lender has a system that shows after you're in their system buying a house, it allows them to see if you get your credit ran, right? So you can't like sneak behind them and do it. Anytime your social security number goes into the system, they know that I think they have it for 6 months after too. So,
even if you just apply, so not even if you have a loan through them?
No. Once you apply, it hits their system saying such and such applied for this, and this. So funny. I'm friends with the lender, right? Like super close with her. And she's like, girl, what you out there? You just bought another car, huh? Oh, you just da-da-da-da. I did just buy another house.
How did you know this?
I bought another house. So I was in her system, and so it's funny because she'll be like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Making sure you make your payments. I'm like, girl, I can handle it. But anyway, so that's the reason why you don't want to buy furniture. I don't even know if I was supposed to say that, but see, this is information that you'll get from Latrice. You won't get it anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Don't make any large deposits or take out any large deposits without first checking with your lender or agent. This is finally a different one. So, have we all heard of money laundering?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I think so.
Okay, well, you and I have.
Yes.
You and I have heard of money laundering.
I've seen laundering. I know what money laundering is.
Come on, they wash that money and make sure it gets clean. Okay, so it's kind of sad because it's not really, most of the time it's not money laundering. Like, let's say your mom wants to hey, son, I wanna give you this $2,000 that I've been saving. It's been in my makeup bag for the past 15 years. I was just waiting to give it to you. Okay. And she gives that to you and you put it in your account. It's now considered laundering because you changed it. When you go get some money out, it's not going to be that same money, right? So that's what they mean about cleaning the money. You get new serial numbers. They're going to give you a different set of cards. They're definitely not giving you the same ones.
Right.
I don't even know if they can give you back the same money. I think that's like, I'm not a teller or a banker or whatever, but I don't think they can do that. So anyhow, the problem with that is if you deposit large amounts of money in your account, it is considered money laundering. They have to what do you call it? Track all monies, right? They have to know where all monies came from to make sure that it's legitimate money. We don't know where mom got that money from. Not saying that your mom does, illegal stuff.
Who knows?
Who knows, right?
They don't know.
They don't know, right? I feel bad, but they don't know. They don't know if she's so the point is, don't even do it. Just don't even have them especially if you can't track it. So your lender will likely tell you give you steps on what to do if you only have cash and you need to take you know what? This happens a lot with people that work at bars.
Yes.
Bartenders,
That was me for a
Yeah,
long time.
really,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So you're getting a bunch of cash in. I feel like I seen you at a bar before too.
Probably.
Maybe that's why you look familiar.
Yeah. I think I just have one of those really familiar faces.
You
Like,
do
very
look familiar.
unoriginal face is what I like to say.
But you went. No, I put your business out. I'm about to say what high school you went to because you just said, but I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that because I don't know.
Can't rat me out.
I don't know. I'm sorry. See, you got the wrong person up here, Lord. Okay, but anyhow, so I was gonna say that I wasn't gonna say nothing. That we just don't be putting large amounts of cash in your thing because it has to be traced. They're going to trace it. And what's unfortunate about that is I've seen whole deals fall apart. So that contract that we were just talking about, mutual acceptance, is no longer because you're no longer approved because where did you get that $30,000 that you just put into your bank account? Oh, I transferred it from my husband and it has to be tracked. If it came from the Cayman Islands, they need to know. Have you ever read those John Grisham books where they're like, oh my God.
I know who that is, but no, I've never read any of them.
And
I'm a Stephen King guy.
Listen, we're gonna give him a pass. He's up here reading these scary novels, Stephen King. Shout out to Stephen King. But John Grisham, I got to give shout out to listen. When you're incarcerated, you read a lot of stuff that has to do with lawyers. They was hiding that money in the Cayman Islands, man. Okay. Now, this is a good one, right? We're right here. Don't change your bank account. If you've already given them banking information for one account, don't change. I honestly, it will take a lender to tell you for sure. Pretty sure it's fraud if you've given them information about one account and then you are like, oh, just kidding. Here's this one, and that you've never had. I don't know because
why would someone switch bank accounts? Is
maybe
there a
they
reason?
don't. Well, maybe they don't want them to see deposits that are coming into the account. Maybe they took a bunch of cash and put it in there, which is probably where even though that probably isn't what happened, but the lender's mind has to go straight there. Like an underwriter, somebody that's underwriting a transaction or underwriting, a transaction or contract. If they're underwriting the situation, underwriting the application is what they're doing. It's their job. It's their job to make sure that they don't get sued or get, when the lender gods or whoever it is come down and say, hey, what happened with this transaction? It's their job to make sure that they did everything airtight.
Otherwise, they're getting probably fired or
come
whatever.
on now.
Yeah.
Everybody trying to say what they say, CYA.
Mm-hmm.
And you spell it out. You say it because I ain't gonna say it because we on national TV. Okay. And the last one we have here, this is going to be hard. Let me say, this is going to be hard for any of us parents who have kids that call them all the time.
I thought you were going to say, as a parent, don't have kids. I was like, whoa, that's why a lot of people are wanting to buy a house.
No.
Do not have kids.
That's I would say just think about it before you do. How about that?
Smart advice.
But this one is a shout out to all my parents out there who have adult children. Because it's our duty to make sure that they're good and they don't need anything. So they will call you as soon as they've moved out. And they'll say, Mom, I'm standing here at the car lot. I need you to co-sign on this car.
My car that I currently have, my mom co-signed on for me.
God,
Brian! Yep. I was like, I don't want to have to pay that. I can get how much cheaper if I have her co-sign on it? I'm like, yeah, okay. Let's go.
I've had my kids ask me to co-sign on their cars, on a house, on an apartment. Like, bro. And as parents, we're like, I don't want you to be homeless, or I don't want you to not have a car. Certainly don't want you to ask me for a ride. So our first instinct, or maybe it's the second one, probably not the first one, because we're probably thinking, no, absolutely not at first. But eventually, we give in most of the time and we co-sign. An absolute no. Do not give in and co-sign for anyone while you are under contract, while you have a mutual agreement to purchase a home, because that once again, it's just like you buying another car, right? Your
Mhm.
debt to income ratio could shoot out the roof. And although there are ways around it if you have co-signed for somebody, and I'll just let this out here. I'm not a lender, but I kind of know some things. So if you can show 12 months of bank statements that you did not pay, so like if let's say I co-signed for my son, Deontay shot out. If I co-signed for him a car and I've never made the payment, he's made the payment, and he can show a 12-month history of that, then they'll take that off your debt to income ratio.
Okay.
Yeah, but don't try it inside of the transaction, because how are you going to get 12 months of you're not.
Because
If you,
obviously immediately they're thinking, what if he doesn't pay on it?
oh
Then now
yeah,
that debt comes onto you.
oh yeah,
Makes
definitely.
sense.
So it's a no bueno. So absolutely no co-signing. And that just wraps it up for us today. Like, those are the 10 must not while you're purchasing a home. While you're under contract, we learned about mutual acceptance.
Mhm.
We learned about all the don'ts. And tune in next time.
Love it. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Honestly, for
Thank
someone I have yet to buy my own house. I've been looking. I downloaded Zillow. That's how you know I'm looking,
Oh,
which is
you're looking
awesome.
hard.
But also haven't done any of the bank stuff yet. I haven't gone into it because I feel like I'm always nervous about like applying for, like, I don't know, because the same thing like you were saying. It's like they it dings your credit, or it
Yeah.
makes it look like you're. So I've just been kind of browsing, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, we need to do a segment on that, because I think a lot of people are nervous to get their credit dinged. Here's the thing. You have to know what you need, though.
Yeah.
There's no way around that. Like, the last thing you want to do is be all prepared. Oh, I found the perfect house. This has got the perfect payment. Da 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 da. You and your girl and whatever, you guys are ready to rock and roll. You got the dogs and everything is good. And then they're like, wait a minute. We need you to work on this, 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 and this. And that'll be another 6 months.
Yeah, you're like, oh.
Right. So you do need to have some type of starting point, and you're just going to have to buckle down and do it. The great part is the government, it's not the lenders. The government requires them to give it allows you the ability to search for a home loan. It's one of the biggest purchases that you'll make in lifetime, right?
Yeah.
You might make it multiple times, who knows? If God blesses you, you might make it
I mean, that and my Lamborghini that I'll have here shortly.
Come on
but
now.
Yeah.
Maybach in the house, you know what I'm saying? For me, like,
Little Maserati, couple Mazzies in the garage. Yeah.
hey, yes. You just never know, right? Prepare for whatever's coming. But what I would say is that when what I mean by the government allows you the opportunity is that you have a period of time to run a mortgage loan application.
Okay.
So let's say Movement Mortgage runs your loan application, and then Revolution runs your mortgage loan application. As long as it's in this specific period of time. And I want to give you a lower number because it could be 60 days, but I don't want to tell you 60, because if it's 30, then what?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say 30, right? So within the 30-day period, as long as you run as many as possible, you only have that one hit. And we're not talking about 60 points. We're talking about like 3.
Gotcha.
It's not like a car loan or a car place when you go out there and they're like searching Numerica and SCCU and all these different places, BECU and everybody who's got the best deal. And then you get hit like 19, times. It looks like you went to 19 different places to get a car loan. That sucks. By the way, I'm not here for car loans, but never do that. Always go to your bank and get the interest rate from your bank and the approval from your bank, and then give it to the car place. Anyway, yeah, we're definitely not here for the cars, though. Just a little.
But hey, a little extra tidbit.
Yep.
Right on.
Thank me later.
Well, once again, thank you. I appreciate it. This was awesome.
Yeah,
Hopefully I'll be able to come back.
Yeah, thanks so much, Brian, for coming. Okay.
Cool. Right on.
Thank you.